Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. We're still in this flashback? Yeah, that sounds about right. The sounds of the god's voice came in short, quick bursts, stopping and staring and lingering upon the consonants. A calm confidence, however, cut through the stutter. I've heard a great deal of things from your relatives. Mind you, your pedigree alone commands high expectations. Is it true you are skilled with wielding a lubrise? The prince muttered under his breath. Yes, your majesty. Ah, unwindly and unorthodox thing. Unwieldy, that's what that says. That is, albeit, most fitting for a Cretan soul such as yourself, and a sign that your lineage indeed is as mighty as I was told. Few warriors can boast about mastering that old relic, wouldn't you say? Asterion of Crete, I ask you a question. The prince measured every word. His inquiry was a poisoned one. Pardon me, Lord Hades. In truth, I cannot boast nothing. I can boast nothing. It would be impious of me. Why? I master no relic, your majesty. Hades' lips moved not, but the subtlest smile came to his eyes. So it would seem that you are skilled with the artifact, as you are with words and laws, much like your relatives. The prince's shoulders slouched forward. Yet again, he had dodged a trap. You would make a fine... I don't know this word. I'm sorry. Bureaucrat? Bureaucrat. Is that what that says? I hope so. I could use a head skilled with wordsmithing, and it would be quite the opulent position for the standards of Affodale. And yet, your uncle has told me that you wish to join the guard. His gaze went back to his kingdom, to the spiraling city and far beyond, the mountain range which cradled it. Border Patrol, a simple yet crucial position in the hierarchy of the underworld. Lord Hades took a sip of his drink. Far away, Asterion caught just a whiff of its scent, the purest, most fragrant of all aromas. The living must be kept out until their appointed time of arrival. Bodies and flesh and bone are ill-equipped for this land. And the dead, too. All of them must remain here. The newly dead dream of returning to the world of the living. Little do they know that a disembodied soul will, in less than a day, lose both form and mind upon the surface. For the good of all, the subjects of each realm must remain in their rightful homes. Do you understand the position of this mission? The importance of this position? Yes, Lord Hades. He looked at Asterion, the hybrid man standing with stiff posture and bovine head lowered in reverential deference. The only sound between them was the soft pattering of chthonic, I hope that's right, rain upon the courtyard's roof. You have spoken frankly to me now, without fear or shame. Radamantes told me you have already taken a liking to the underworld. Is that so? Yes, your majesty. My time here has been brief, but I quite like it already. Not to disrespect Lady Hestia, or the duty I held to her, but the life of a commoner in the underworld has afforded me more freedom, and plenty than my life above as a prince ever did. I see. Tell me, then, if given the chance to return to the world of the living, would you take it? I would not, your majesty. How rare. Perhaps you will come to love my realm, then. The prince at last dared to meet the gaze of the underworld king. Lord Hades' eyes were as heavy as solemn as polished marble, his brow furrowed like gentle sloping veins of ore. I was aware of your history, Asterion of Crete. King Minos nobly granted you no privilege. Oh, King Minos' nobility, yeah. One could argue it was a greater a yoke than it was ever a gift. And your heritage, daughter of the sun, Poseidon himself and the king of Minos, descendant of Zeus. You could have been a demigod with the pedigree this refined, or at the very least, a great holy man or advisor. But it seems that all your greatness brought you no pleasure or glory. And then, there is the manner of which we cannot speak. We take a sip from his bowl. Oh, he takes a sip from his bowl, and let it rest to his mouth, nursing every bit of grace and to meet it might bring him. That's what it says. In that moment, to Asterion, the god of the underworld seemed small and tired, as he enjoyed the single pleasure. Hades' own head hung low as he brought down the bowl, as if he had fallen asleep, but his voice rang out nevertheless. But your past matters not in court. Both nobility and commoner are the same to me. Sons and daughters of Olympus find themselves punished just as often as the mortals they scorned. Your flaws, your family's disgrace, all the pomp and glory of your lineage, your trial wiped it all clear. If you will serve me, all that matters is that you choose to do it of your own will, your own free will, and if you if time is so merciful, out of love for this world. Hades finished his drink and placed the bowl on his lap. Upright, cradled by his legs, droplets of light still shimmer at the bottom of it. This land is peaceful, its people kind. You will see that it is quite unlike what mortals tell in their tales. Before I inherited this realm from the old border, my brothers and I overturned the souls of mortals. Were fated to turn stagnant and malevolent. My brothers wished for glory and worship, while I chose to stay here to offer a true home and resting place to those who once toiled upon the earth. Despite what my detractors would say, the underworld's purpose is to be a home. So here you find dignity, a place of belonging, if fortune allows, happiness too. From a basket by his side, the god pulled a folded piece of cloth. The prince could see even far away from it. It was a rich fabric, for even in the underworld's dimness, it shimmered with life. Asterion of Crete, is it your wish to join the Underworld's guard? The prince's voice rang clear and true, free from all of the tragedies he had carried in life. Yes, my lord. Then swear now to uphold the Underworld's mission, to do all in his power, to make this realm into a home for those lost souls reaped from the mortal realm. Yes, my lord. Take this and rise. Oh, okay, that's cute. The Lord of Many extended his hand, cradling that sweet fabric even as he offered it to the former prince. And so, with a solemn and joyous now, okay, Asterion of Crete embraced his eternal mission. Okay. Okay. Look at this piss child. The Minotaur caressed the letter, appreciating every minute, hill and valley left by his old lord's calligraphy. His eyes, meanwhile, latched onto the intricate signature at the bottom. All under the employ of the Underworld's monarch, were taught to recognize it, to respect it, and to identify as many as it forgeries. Despite all thousands of years, the Minotaur's memories was pristine, as sure as the sun sets in the west, and all mortals meet their end. That was the mark of his Lord Hades. Asterion of Crete was no coward. He defiled no relic, nor did he defy the commandments of Olympus. The starry-eyed prince didn't betray his family, nor his country, and neither did he subvert the natural order. That thrice-cursed trial, which sentenced him to captivity in this realm, was illegitimate. Asterion expected hummingbirds to rise up and peck at him, or for a ring of fire to envelop his throat and strangle the thought right out of him, but none of it came. All he had was silence that shuffled his hooves, until an idea snuck into his mind and out from his lips. I am innocent! It sounded like a lie. By the 12, he expected to be struck down right then and there for his hubris. But punishment never came. All that followed was a silence most kind, and a sudden warmth spreading outward from his chest. If I am not guilty, then what I must be? Before any poisoned seeds could take root, the prince rose and ran to his wardrobe. A longing set his eyes and hands into a blaze. It should be there, the old friend darker than the underworld itself, one of the few things that came with him to this realm. He knew it as soon as his fingers touched it. The texture of the old cloak, fit only for a true and loyal servant of Lord Hades, never for a disgraced prisoner. He caressed it, unleashing a torrent of memories. The Minotaur's heart retched within his chest, and his face twisted into a snarl as the hurt became unbearable. All he could do was to hug it and swallow the knot in his throat. Lord Hades of the Golden Chariot, if only I had your wisdom one last time. Should I? Can I? All disgrace and infamy wiped clean, to serve out and free with love and with will and love. To find a place of belonging and dignity in work. Then I hope happiness too. Okay. Like an eagle with its wings outstretched, the cloak cut through the air and settled upon the prince's steep, wide back. Even if the world itself would deny it, at long last, he was a prisoner no more. Lord Hades, noble Andini, and what I, Donius, you would want me to be fearless and to take what I seek with my own hands. Thank you, Lord Hades, for everything. Meanwhile, they came, wanderers no more, from across the salt knobs of the desert. They stopped. They spotted the red horns tearing the sky asunder, and the hotel's walls jutting from the landscape. The peacock tightened his grip on the steering wheel. He could see his inheritance already. The Minotaur, meanwhile, looked into the mirror in the sun visor, his snout so large in the tiny car, legs cramped and unable to fidget out his nervousness. He tidied his fur, then stopped. Looking presentable was never his thing. At long last, Oscar draws a breath. At long last, Asterion draws a breath. It has only been a handful of minutes since there was a knock on the door, and in came Mr. Josh. The Minotaur had continued to look into the mirror, as if his clothes would change on their own if he didn't keep track of them. What pride he had left over, what he felt over the cloak, and the pair of regal horns framed his head, large enough to command respect, not so much as to become clumsy liabilities. He brushed his fur so that not a strand sticks out. All in perfect symmetry, he felt he had to make more certain, however. Behind him, draped in gold and crimson, from the dying light of dusk, filtering in through the window, the good man, can't read, looks down at his agenda. The evening schedule outlined down to the minute, all broken down into little blocks. The hotel's grand reopening and its renaming, Minotaur Hotel. The man lifts his gaze to the sea-foamed hair, pristine horns prince, who returns it through the mirror. Now that's a nice look. The cloak seems tailored for you. It was. I have always kept it for a very special occasion. Asterion smiles. A smile shines like the sun as it rises over the horizon from the sea, and his ears sway like a laurel wreath in the breeze. He readjusts his legs, and in doing so, his hooves give out sweet-sounding notes. If one were to strain their ears, they could hear a wide-hearted rumble within the prince's chest. But he, poor thing, cannot be aware of his own grace, for his eyes see only you. For the man who is beautiful is beautiful to see, but the man will at once also beautiful be. Another one of your original poems? I could only wish it was. This one belongs to, yes, the 10th Muse, as she was called. But I make her words mine. You are good, Mr. Josh, and the most handsome man I've ever had the privilege of seeing. You're only trying to get into my good graces, a flatterer. Is this some ploy to get me in the mood of renovate another section of the hotel? Now that is one fine idea. Sadly, I was not astute enough to think that far ahead. What a tragedy. I wasted my sweet-sounding niceties of being honest and sincere. The prince closes his eyes. One by one, the hummingbirds come to graze the back of his head. This time, however, they only flutter about, beating their wings to send shivers down his spine. They may clench his jaw, but they bring no fire to his throat. He cannot stop himself from scratching the aching his back. He covers his nape with a palm, and, how odd, he swears he can recall having a scar there. Yet today, he feels so smooth, perfect fur, softer than cream. He breathes a breath, and never in thousands of years did he breathe so free, as if a collar had been undone from around his neck. His breath of life. It is as if he was back home again. He turns around, half expecting to see someone long ago. But before your eyes meet his, he already knows whose face he will see.
You bring me such nostalgia. Your attitude, your leadership, your kindness, even the way you speak. It all reminds me of my best friend. Both my brothers, Andragos, and my bodyguard, Furnos.
Okay, I'll end the part here. I'll see you around, everyone.